there is a horrible tequila in here that they do a shooting match of, basically, as a poker game. And I want to say it's Interpenia del Diablo, and I could be saying it wrong, but it translates to the devil's the devil's crotch. Okay, is what it's called. And it is inspired by my 21st birthday when my buddies took me to a Mexican restaurant and they put me in a sombrero and everybody's having a good time, and this guy comes up and he pours a shot out of this dark looking bottle, and then he goes over and pours the same stuff on the table next to him and uses it to clean the table.
Good adventures, everybody. I'm Melissa Bonzak, and welcome to episode 126 of Books Cubed, the show where I chat with authors you should be reading. It is exciting to be back after a somewhat longer hiatus. As many of you know, my husband is a travel agent, and so we are on the go sometimes a lot. Thankfully, my daughter and her husband live upstairs, so they can come down and take care of trash and clean the pool and do any of the other things that need to be done while we are gone. So that's always nice. I like having them here for that. And let's see what has been going on. I have, if you are one of our Roller Prompt users and you like to listen to the podcast we do where we write live, we have our 12th book just came out, and I wish I could hold it up to show you, but I am still waiting for proof to come out. But the ebook is up. It's all about world building. It was so much fun to put together. It took us this one took us about 4, maybe 5 months to come up with. So this one took a little longer than normal. Usually we can knock them out in a couple of long weekends. We did one whole book on a cruise one time. That was so much fun. But this one took longer because I really wanted to make sure that it covered a lot of areas that a writer might want. So this basically was done so that you could dive right into your story, and then whenever you came up with an idea that you like, how does magic work in your world? Well, don't worry about it till you have to worry about it. Go ahead and start writing, and then when something is going to come up that is going to be affected by whatever magic, we have one of those in the prompt book, and you can go through and roll and create a magic system. Traveling and shelters and different rituals, how people live, all kinds of ways that you can enhance your world building without having to stop and create journals full of ideas and then never write the actual story because you're still writing the rules for your world, which is how the whole thing came about in the first place, because my co-author Lisa said, "Are you done writing Amy of Earth yet, your Portal Fantasy?" And I'm all, well, I've got a lot of books about it that I've journaled about it a lot. And she said, "Write the damn book." So I said, okay, I think you're right, and we need to put this into world building. So that's how that one came about. And let's see, what else is new? Oh, not much other than that. First 2 books of Amy of Earth, my Portal Fantasy, are out. And book 3 comes out December, end of December, possibly sooner. And if you are hoping to be a beta reader for that, you can always join my mailing list. And I'm always looking for beta readers and reviewers for the new books when they come out. Okay, so we took care of all that. I want to dive into my interview today, which is with Will Pepper. We are talking about his book, One Icy Night, which was very exciting. I absolutely loved his narrator. Oh my God, you will love his narrator too. Let's get right into it, and I will see you after. Welcome, Will. I am so excited to have you back and chat about One Icy Night. And I want to just give everybody a general idea about you and your books.
Oh, sure. My wife and I work together. She's my publisher, and I am the author, and we write thrillers. We have a series out there that's a Technothriller series that wrapped this past March, and a general thriller we're talking about today called One Icy Night came out in January a year ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember when it came out, and I was reading something else. Was it in Kindle Unlimited?
Yes, it's in Kindle Unlimited, and it's also the audiobook is available as well. And Jeanette Illage is our narrator, and she does more than just read it; she performs it. So if people like audiobooks, she does. She's fantastic.
She was amazing. Yeah, I was reading one of your different books and then I got rid of Kindle Unlimited and I lost all my books. I'm like,
Ah,
which one was I reading? So when I went to look and see which one I was reading, I saw one Icy Night and I thought, oh, you know what? I'll just start from scratch because I can't remember where I was and I can't remember which book I was reading. So
awesome.
basically, give everybody just a quick rundown of what this book is about.
Sure. One Icy Night. This is the first general thriller that I have written. I started in Technothrillers and moved over to general thrillers, and this is inspired by a true event that I lived through in 1994. I was in high school when an ice storm came through and just decimated my hometown of Cleveland, Mississippi, and a lot of the area. It caused a lot of damage, and I can talk more about that later. But the 30th anniversary of it was coming up, and I told my wife, I said, I know we're working on this series, but I have an idea for a standalone. And we went through the process of talking it through and said, okay, let's get it done before the anniversary. So it came out before the 30th anniversary. And one of my favorite things about the story is that I'll find people that either lived through that ice storm or been through ice storms, and they'll just stop me and say, an ice storm changed the way I look at this. That's why I always do this, this, this. And I love that, some positive came out of those type of tragedies.
Yeah, I lived in North Dakota. There was an ice storm that knocked out, this must have been mid 90s. Ice storm knocked out the power. We lived on a base in Grand Forks, knocked out the power. They had no backup generator. So people were going to each other's houses. We had a gas stove. So you would turn the stove on for a little while, then turn it off. We had pets and we couldn't bring them with us into town. And what we did was we just put them in a room with a space heater, got the room really warm, turned off the space heater, put blankets by the door so the heat wouldn't get out, left them with water, and then ran into town. And we lucked into a booth at like Denny's or something. And we just had two or three other families join us and we all squeezed in together and we spent all day there. And the dogs were fine. We went home and they were just sleeping anyway. They would just lay around. They're lazy things. So they were okay. But yeah, and then we had a flood. The Red River flooded in North Dakota, and the whole town was destroyed pretty much, and everybody had to go to the base and stay. So we had two. I think that's why this really spoke to me when I saw the title. It made me think of both those incidents, which really, like you said, they really changed the way you think and prepare for things.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the story, uh, tell just a little teaser of what the story's about.
Oh, sure. Okay, so this story again takes place the night, I think it's February 8th, February 9th, 1994, and it follows a young girl who is caught in an impossible situation. She gets stranded at this dive bar and is surrounded by unsavory characters and people that you just can't quite read what's going on. And the story is told in three parts. It's told it's told as a year ago with some stuff that she went through. It is told 6 hours before the beginning of the first chapter, and then you go back and forth. So it is, I'd say two-thirds of the book, actually three-fourths of the book is one night, and then you have a little bit of a flashback that explains why the characters do what they do.
And it was, if you're listening and you're thinking, I don't like flashbacks, it was not disruptive. And I had no problem following along with who was who and what was going on. And it just rolls right on through. And I wanted to kind of make it last. So I listened on walks and I listened when I was doing laundry because I thought I could just sit here and just have it go in one day and finish it. But sometimes you get a book where you just want to, you don't want it to end. And even though her
There are
night was
books that I
horrible,
savor, yeah. No, there are books that I savor. There's a book. I mean, it took me a year to read because I'd read just a little, put it down, read something else. So yeah, I'm glad to hear you savored it. Yay.
yeah, it was just so much fun. Now, when you write this, some of the characters in here were pretty horrible people. So do
Yes.
you draw from life characters, from people you know? I mean, where do those deep, dark souls come
I,
from?
I do. I do. Some of the characters are amalgamations of people that I have known that have been wild or self-destructive or both. And I think the character you're probably talking about is a character named Riley, and Riley is a wild card. Riley, you cannot predict what he's going to do, but he is inspired by several people that I have known, and he's fun to write, but he's hard to be a friend with.
Yes. Yes, he would. And I mean, there are people that you think are friends, and then I don't want to give any of the twists away. So
Sure.
as you're working on, because this had three different timelines, how do you keep every track of everything when you're writing something like that?
Cool. It was my process was pretty simple. Was I would say simple, but it was a lot of iterations. I wrote three stories and just lined them up, and then started going through and saying, how can I link these together? My wife has a wonderful photo. We have a big dining room table, and I just put all the stuff there, and I started saying, okay, this chapter can end here if I shift this into this timeline so that the flow would work. And it's one of the first times I've ever heavily outlined as much as I did. I probably spent a month outlining and then went through, and that's only 70% of it, and then make some changes. But it was something fun to say, okay, how can I get these stories to go together? Because they follow one character's one point of view, and it really was a challenge. But I think it helped the story be stronger.
Do you plan on doing outlining? Because you did, it's the one time you really outlined a lot. Do you plan on outlining more in the future? I mean, did this help you? Did this change the way you write?
It did. It changed the way I write because I used to be more of a pantser. And for people who are watching, pantser, you just have a blank page and you go. Plotter, you sit there and outline, and then you start filling in the outline, and then you can go from there, whether it's just going straight from the outline or saying, okay, you read over it a second, and then you start writing the chapter. And I realized how much time I was losing as a pantser. I was going through and just writing, and then I went, wait, I've really got to edit this like crazy. And I would have to cut out a third of a book that just would not work. And when you're talking about 20 to 30,000 words, you're talking about a lot of time. So this way I'm able to be more efficient with it, but also I'm still able to be creative in the outline. People think, oh, if you're outlining, you're cheating. No, I've got, like, I'm working on the sequel to this book right now, and I have alternate ideas, and I know how it starts. I know how most books, I know how they start. Actually, all books, I know they start, I know the middle, and I know the end. And before I ever start writing anything, because if you don't know your ending, you run the risk of making your reader really, really mad. As somebody who's hurled books across our bedroom and just said, I can't believe I read that. But it's really something that's made me have more efficiency in my writing.
I agree. I'm a huge outliner myself. I have my all the walls of my office. You can kind of see a wall there to my left. Don't read that. That's a book that's coming out. If you're watching the video, don't read that. Excuse me. And the outlining really helps me. And I also write serials. And as I've been novelizing the serial, one of the serials, I've had to go back and completely rewrite the books. And so it's like, okay, I'm calling this serial the first draft of the story,
Yeah,
because then I get feedback from people, things they like, things they don't like, things they want to see more of. And
right.
so the not outlining just makes more work for me. I mean, there's some people I know that say, well, I don't outline at all, and I just write a draft, and then I write a second draft and a third, and I'm done. I'm like, okay, great. I think they must think about it more, where they have the story in their head, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
It's not a way that I can work, but for some people it works. So if you're a writer listening, what works for you works for you. Don't change what you're
Mhm.
doing because somebody else said you need to do it. Unless it's outlining, outline. No.
One of my favorite resources that I recommend people get is the Handbook of the Mystery Guild. I think maybe the name of it. I'm probably butchering it. Lee Child went through, and he was the editor of it a couple years ago, and he interviewed a ton of successful writers. And you have people in there that say you always outline, and then you have, I want to say, Child was the one who said you never outline. So it was something that really improved my writing years ago, and I highly recommend it. But anyway, it's something that, whatever works for you. It says, okay, maybe this will give you another tip. Don't change what's working.
Oh, I like that. So I will look up what that is and I'll include it in the show notes so anybody out there can find it. So when you first started, The first books that I remember you writing were Choose Your Own Adventure.
There you go.
What took you out of those and took you into thrillers?
Sure. Well, when 2020 came around and my wife and I were traveling the country doing motivational and continuing education speeches, all of a sudden this little thing called COVID-19 came through and we weren't needed. So that shifted us because I'd always wanted to write. I had done ghostwriting for film and television when I was younger, but I always wanted to write books or write my own stories. And we came up with these ideas to do interactive stories, basically ebooks that are just running through HTML code. We called it a series of fun mistakes, and we did one just for the heck of it. Had a buddy of ours did an awesome cover for it, and he's a nurse practitioner, but also he's a great artist. So he put that together for us, and we put that out there, and it did pretty well. And we gave all the proceeds to charity, and then people started saying, "So what's the next book?" And I don't know if you did you read Choose Your Own Adventure books growing up?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for our viewers who haven't done that, those were the ones that you get a book and it says first page. There's a haunted mansion in front of you. Do you go in the front door? If you do, you go to page 27. Do you go in the basement? If you do that, you go to page 52. And it's a unique story. And if you ever read the book and look through it, it really does not make sense at an adult level because you'll have aliens show up or ghosts or Scooby-Doo type endings and things. But they were really fun, and this allowed my tech background to come in, and we were able to create these books. But people ask, so what's next? What happens to the character after the end of this first book? And I was like, these aren't a series. They're individual stories. But then I was like, and then it got me thinking, well, I have an alternate ending for the first book, and what if we started doing? So we came up with a series, and one thing we have found out about me is that I cannot write just a trilogy. I have to write a saga, 4 books. So that's 4 books. Our Tanto Technothriller series is 4 books. I'm not I've tried trilogies, and I'm trying another trilogy. We'll see, but it might be 4 books again.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My first series is 4 books. I
There you go.
have 2 more I might write. My readers keep
Hmm.
asking when are they coming out, and I have
Hmm.
sort of outlines for them, but I have so many, I get bored and I move on to new things. So, I mean, if you're listening and you read June Nash, I'm hoping to do 2 more, but I don't know. So you have the one series with 4,
Correct.
and you have this book, and this is having a
Yes.
sequel, you said.
Yes. Yes.
And as I was finishing it, I thought, you kind of, I mean, the last line of the book, it kind of made me feel like there might be a sequel. So I ran to Amazon to look real quick because if there was a sequel, I was going to buy it. And there was no sequel yet. So,
I know. I
so
know.
I'm glad to hear that she will be back because I really like her character.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's a very strong character, and I really enjoy writing strong women because I had a lot in my life that influenced me and helped me become the person that I am, and that includes my wife. So it's something that I enjoy. When there's a strong protagonist, female that's leading the way, it's really cool to read.
Oh, yeah.
And right.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, with my first series, she's kind of bumbling, but she gets better over time. But as I've started new series, yeah, I've got more confident. I like the more confident character, and so
Hmm.
that's more what I'm going with. So after you do the sequel to One Icy, oh, so it's a sequel to One Icy Night. Is there going to be another weather related? I mean, are you gonna do One Blustery Morning? I mean, is it
There
gonna?
you go. I like that. One fine day. Wait, I think that's a George Clooney movie. Um, no, this one is this. The sequel is called The Compound, and it is alluded to in that book, in One Icy Night. So it is not. It is not weather. Weather is a factor. Well, probably will be a factor, but it is not one that has the storm as its own character. In One Icy Night, I tried to have the storm have its own feel, its own. It wasn't just a relentless storm. It was one that came in waves and sometimes would be bad for the protagonist, sometimes good.
Yes, and it did feel like a character. Like sometimes you read a book and the house or the town is a character in itself.
Yes.
But the storm
Yes.
definitely felt like a character, and it was not happy with our poor leading lady for most of the time.
It was not. I've always thought that if any of my characters came to life, even if they didn't believe in murder, they would kill me.
She would have some things to say about you. Now, she in the first book she plays a bass, I think it was. So she's the bass
Correct.
player. Is
She's a
she
bass
going to
player.
go back to music?
Music is still part of her life. It is something that I I don't. She's not going to be with that band anymore for certain reasons in
Yeah.
the book. But music is still part of her life. Yes.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. So, after you're done with that one, do you have plans
Mhm.
for the next series? Are you going to do four with her character?
I am, let's see, right now, the process is this. We have coming out next year a short story, and it is going to be the day before One Icy Night. And it introduces readers, if they've never read One Icy Night, to the character of Rook. And it also introduces them to a character named EC. And EC Coyle is the hardest drunk south of the Mason Dixon line. He is very proud of it. He is very self-destructive, and he is going to be fun to have with her in that story. And then the following year, we're going to have a book come out called The Compound, and it is a Rook story, but it also has EC in it. So while it is a sequel, it also does lead from the short story that's coming out.
Oh, I like that. I like when characters are brought back from other books.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Do you want to, do you have like a paragraph or something that you can read that kind of give people a feel for the book?
Sure, sure. Let me get first of all, while I do that, tell me what you're working on.
Oh, let's see. What am I? Oh, my Amy of Earth series, which is a Portal Fantasy. And
Awesome.
I've got new artwork, which is gorgeous. And I can't wait to have that out. So, yeah, I'm on book three. I'm hoping to have that to my editor on November 1st.
That's great. Oh man, that's a feat. That's so exciting, but also for me, it's also like, oh, I gotta let it go. I gotta push it away and let somebody else deal with it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is something that I've been asked to read before. It's the afterword, and it links the real life into this story, and I would like to do that. And again, this is not the character. This is just my personal opinion and what I learned about the ice storm. And this is the Delta ice storm 30 years later. Sudden events mark, if not mar, our lives. Some focus on achievements, prosperity, others, failures or losses. And then there are the ones that start in tragedy and end in triumph. 30 years ago, there was a storm that redefined the way I live. Growing up, the main moments that stuck out to me were the Challenger explosion, the fall of the Berlin Wall. But both those events were not in my backyard. The 1994 Delta ice storm hit during my freshman year in high school. Growing up in the small town of Cleveland, Mississippi, we saw the occasional snow. I'd seen a good bit of ice and snow before, mainly traveling with my family to Colorado, but nothing like this. Even though it was February, we should have known something bad was on the way because the temperature hit 70 degrees. Then it plummeted to 28 degrees as a cold front mixed with that warm front. My parents' house had a bunch of trees that they'd planted when they built the house. Throughout the night, sounds like small arms gunfire popped as limb after limb struggled to handle the weight of 3 to 4 times in ice. Thunderous crashes echoed through our home as trees toppled. Finally, the boom of power lines crashing and their transformers exploding added to the chaos. 350,000 people went without power for an average of 7 days, and that was just in Mississippi. Almost 26,000 power line poles covered our yards and streets. At the time, this was the largest and costliest disaster in Mississippi power and light history. The damage to the southern part of the United States was in the billions. Alabama and Tennessee each had damage reaching over $500 million. Mississippi wasn't as lucky, where the damage and loss of revenue reached over $2 billion. For the next 3 weeks, my parents and I went without power and sometimes water. You'd think I'd look back at that time with fear or even boredom. Instead, I remember all the wonderful experiences that came out of that storm. With houses losing heat, you'd think everyone would have stayed to themselves. Instead, the kindness of a community came together, and it shined more brightly than the sun off the icy snow. People grabbed their gear to help move down trees, share supplies, and cook meals. I remember my dad and I cooked catfish and hush puppies for all the power line and rescue workers at our local moose lodge. It was my first time cooking hush puppies, and I still smile when I think about those balls of batter crackling and watching them turn from light brown to dark. But it wasn't all fun in cooking hush puppies. I had a friend and classmate who lost his father during this time. The kind man was trying to help others, and a fall took his life. I remember attending that funeral in a mostly dark hall and wearing a heavy coat since the heat was out. And as I said at the beginning, this event changed the way I live. I learned poker from friends as we huddled around a table that was warmed by a portable kerosene heater. Today, my wife and I have gas heat, gas stoves, because electricity can be taken away by a storm. We keep bottled water, batteries, canned goods, and more on hand at all times. We fill the bathtubs when a storm comes through, just in case we lose water, and so many other things that changed our daily lives. So that was just something that I like sharing the realness of it because it's again a true event. Luckily, I didn't go through what Rook went through, but weather-wise, I can relate.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe that's why the book really spoke to me is because I can relate, and we always seem to live somewhere where there's disasters. I was in Kansas with my grandma when a tornado came through, and we lived in Charleston when Hurricane Hugo came through. I think it was a Category 5 when it hit. It might have been a 4. It might have been downgraded, but the storm was huge, and we were 20 miles from the coast, and I had a 4 or 5 month old baby. So it was rather terrifying. And after that, I had vowed to my husband, I will never stay anything over Category 2. I will never stay again, and I never have. I always leave if it's a Category 3. This year, I mean, we're in September, and November hurricane season ends, and we have not had any. Which
Yeah, I think there's one sighting, but it's not near us. It's not near landmass, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, that's good for us, but I think it's bad weather-wise. So, I mean,
Mm.
it says something about the weather being all screwy if there's not a single hurricane, I guess.
Hmm.
It seems like it would. Seems like it
It's
would.
like we're winning. Are we winning? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're winning, no hurricanes in here, but I think it's probably because of all the dust off of Africa, which means droughts and other horrible
Mhm.
things. So somebody's not winning somewhere. I'm just not sure where. But anyway, it's a very exciting book.
Well,
Like I
thank
said, I
you.
could not put it down, but I had to put it down because I wanted it to last, and I felt bad for her because all these horrible things are happening, and I wanted the book to keep going, and I knew that more horrible things were going to continue to happen to her. Well, let's see. So we have a couple characters from book one that will appear in book two,
Correct.
and I don't want to say anything more because I might give stuff away.
Hmm.
So just know that some people survive the storm. Definitely her because she's in again. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to. I
That's an
started to.
acceptable spoiler. When there's a sequel coming out, it's like, okay, the lead character probably made it.
She probably made it. Yeah, yeah. It's like you watch TV and the hero or the star of the show. There's an issue, and I always think they're not going to kill him off. They're not going to kill off the lead character, though. Sometimes they do kill off one of the ensemble in a lead. I
There
think
you
China
go.
Beach, the first time I ever saw that happen. They killed off Cherry during the Tet Offensive. If you have not watched China Beach, it's
Mhm.
been like 30 years, so get over it. But it's, it's no spoiler. It's been 30 years. You
There
should have
you
watched
go.
it.
There you go.
And that was the first time we saw anything like that happen, and we were shocked that they would kill off a lead character.
Yeah.
And that seemed to give the writers permission or the studios or whatever, and they went, "Oh, the audiences will stick around even if a lead character dies. So we
Mhm.
can go ahead and mix things up," which did make things a little more interesting because part of you says, "Oh, they're not going to kill off the lead," but then, maybe they will kill off the lead. You know?
Right. It's interesting like that. I think about one of my top influences, a guy named Tom Fontana. He created a show called Oz on HBO, which was a prison show, which was the first drama on HBO. It was gritty. It's probably even gritty now. But the pilot of that, and again, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and ruin it for you. You are introduced to this entire prison population. You have a new person arrive, but you have one character that you follow through the entire episode, and he's showing you all the different parts, and he just by his interaction stuff. And he gets killed at the end of the first episode. You think he's a main character, and he dies, and it's like, what kind of show am I in for? And that's the kind of show Oz was. It just kicked you right in the right in the teeth.
It was amazing. And for anybody who used to watch Coach, Bill
Hmm.
Faberhagen, is that how you say his name?
I
Was a
think you're
prison
right.
guard, and he was
Mhm.
horrible.
He was. Wasn't he in the stand? Wasn't he one of the characters in the stand?
He might have
Is
been.
it
He
that?
plays Patrick on SpongeBob.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, that's right. I knew that prison guard's voice sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Said much ruder things than Patrick, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, Patrick, you're horrible. Yes, his the series we watched it, and it was just
Mhm.
it was amazing. It changed. It really, like you said, it really changed how they did TV shows. That they could be
Hmm.
gritty and dark, and people would come back and watch.
And I do have a little insider knowledge on with Tom Fontana. He is because because the Tanto Technothriller series takes place. Part of it takes place in a prison. I wrote a character and named it Guard Fontana, and it's the only person in any of the books that I've written so far that is the exact name of a person that is inspiring it. And I wrote Tom Fontana and said, because he doesn't use computers, it says you can't contact him, but I found a way to get in touch with him, and then asked if he wanted a copy, and he said, I'm sure that Guard Fontana is handsome and creative and smart and all the good things, and I look forward to reading his journey. So he has all the books and on his bookshelf, and I was very happy about that. So one of my heroes has copies of our books, and that's really cool.
Oh, that is cool. That is cool. I think I saw a video of somebody throwing their books over the wall somewhere because they wanted the person to have the books. Imagine
Oh
waking up
yeah,
and going out to get your paper and you got all these books in your yard.
you're like, well, I guess I'll read this. Okay,
God, you got to hope the sprinklers don't go on.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Don't do that, people. Though I do know that somebody got their screenplay to Harrison Ford by dressing up as a UPS agent and delivering it and got him to sign for it and got him to take it. Thought that's pretty
I bet
good.
Mr. Ford was very happy about that.
Probably
Yeah.
not. Yeah, and unless your script is super great, they're only going to read the first page and then toss it. I used to be a literary agent, and I never read, almost never read past the first page because most people didn't know how to format. Most people, sorry, you guys out there, most people that sent me scripts, most couldn't write. I did have, I mean, I would go through hundreds a week. It was just, oh my God. It
A
got
lot
to
of
where
coverage.
when I stopped, I didn't read for
Mhm.
like a year. I didn't even read the back of his cereal box. I was so sick
Mhm.
of reading.
That
And
happened to
you
me
worked
too.
in film, so you understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote a lot of coverage and I fixed I did a lot of ghostwriting and I fixed a lot of things or gave ideas to a lot of things. And it was after a while when I left that, I went into the PhD and read so much there that I just had to take a break for a bit. And I'm glad to be back. But yeah, when you're forced to read, 1,000 pages a week, you go, I don't know if I have it up for me for cracking a fun book.
That's right. And you are actually Dr. Pepper.
Correct?
I always forget
Correct.
about that.
And I always say if if somebody falls out in a crowd, I too can call 911.
Oh gosh. Oh, last thing I was going to ask. Now,
Go for it.
years ago, we were part of a group, you and I, in Salem,
Mhm.
and we
Yep.
wrote stories about Salem witches. We had 3 or 4 days where we were immersed in witchdom,
Mhm.
and somebody brought along their husband who was getting a PhD, and he gave us a lecture. I think he was really
You're
interesting,
correct.
or maybe I talked
Yeah,
to
he was.
him.
Yeah, he gives a history, I want to say, of the witches.
Yeah, and because we were kind of less than enthused about the Salem Witch Museum. Sorry, guys. It's just a little,
It's a pass. It's a pass.
yeah, it's too hokey, and it's just not. You guys need to work on it.
But if you
But
want to hear a horrible, accent going, more wait, about a person wanting to get crushed, it's that's you won't be let down there.
yeah, yeah, it was. So thankfully we had him. But yeah, have you done anything more with the story that you submitted for the anthology?
No, that one was a complete story. That one was, I think if I remember correctly, you cross, let's see, the Scarlet Letter with Battleship Down. I think that was, oh no, Animal Farm. That was what I was shooting for. So that's, if that was ever going to be, converted into anything in another medium, it would have to be maybe animated or storyboarded because it was talking creatures. And I have not done anything with that since then. How about you? Have you done anything with your story?
I had sent the story. I wrote the story with like 6 hours to go because I pitched a completely different story originally, and then when I sat down to
Okay.
write it, I went, nah, it didn't work. And
Mm,
I thought and thought and thought, and then like it was due at like 11, and at 5 o'clock I wrote it. And so it's kind of it's maybe a second draft, but it really needed more work. And of course, they won't let
sure.
me fix it or anything. So hopefully, no one's ever read it. Don't read the book. No, I mean, do read the book, but don't read my story. So I sent it to my
Read
narrator.
her story. Okay. You're your own worst critic. I'm sure it's good.
So I sent the
I
story
remember
to my.
reading and enjoying it.
I'm
I
sorry.
read it, enjoyed it. I read yours and
Oh, did
enjoyed
you
it.
like it? Okay, good,
I
good.
did.
But I sent it to my
It's been
narrator,
years, but I did enjoy it.
who
Yeah.
she is so good. The narrator who does my she did my she does my horror and my fantasy.
Mhm.
So I sent it to her, and she wrote back and said, "You need to convert this to a full size book." And I went, interesting. Okay. So that's on my list of things to be working on. I know I have a huge long list of, I have a whole other series, another cozy series I'm writing, and I have, but
Awesome.
that one, but yeah, I was thinking about Salem the other day, and it's so funny because the sweatshirt that I bought in Salem, I go on, like after I got home, I went on to my Zoom, and I Zoom every day, Monday through Friday with a friend, and we write together. And she was wearing the same sweatshirt. I'm like, that's so
That's
freaky.
awesome. That's really
And
cool.
she didn't live anywhere near Salem. She just happened to go to Salem and bought a sweatshirt. I'm like, oh my God, I bought the same
That's
one.
awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, if you ever go, last thing about Salem, if you ever go, there's a really cool shop where you can buy things for witches and stuff. And along one of the walls in the back, they have readings that you can do. And I said to the guy, if my husband was here with me, I would get a reading, but he's not here. And I said, I only have one question is, when will my kid move out? And the guy said, that's the number one question they get. I thought that was very
Oh, that's
funny.
awesome.
Anyway,
I
and
love that.
I think you can see on my shelf. Yeah, on my shelf right up there, I've got
Hmm.
my statue of some people holding a wheel, and there's some other people,
Yes.
and there's forest creatures and things, which I got in that shop because it was very cool, and very carefully wrapped it up to take it home with me. Um, but anyway, so as I hijacked to talk about Salem here.
That's
But
awesome.
One Icy Night was just, it was so good, people. You got to grab it. If you read, I mean, if you read with your eyes, great. But if you listen, highly, highly recommend the audiobook because the narrator was so good.
Hmm. Here's how good Jeanette Illage is. Our let's see, Blackstone Publishing is the one that did the audiobook. Okay, and they have submitted, and it has been accepted. So she's on the long list for this year's Grammy for Audiobook of the Year.
Oh, for your book?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yep, she performed
awesome.
so well. So they sent that in, and it's on the list. Now we have a long hill to climb, and if any of the voters are out there, please listen to her, consider her, because she is fantastic.
Wow. Oh, congratulations to her and to you.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, she was just amazing. And a lot of times the book will be made so much better by the narrator. And I think
Mhm.
somebody left a review about one of my books, the audio version. They said the narrator just elevated the book so much. I said, fantastic. I love it. I have no problem at all of my words being
Thank
elevated by someone who performs it outstandingly.
Sure. There's a section at the near the end of the book that she performs. It's part of a flashback. And my wife and I were listening to the draft notes. We're driving across the country, and we're both sitting there going, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry." Like wrote these words, but the way she performed them was just gripping. And I mean, I highly recommend her. I don't want everyone to lose her to somebody else. I want her to be a Rook as long as she wants to be a Rook.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that she'll be excited to continue in the book because of the characters. Yeah. So
She's a very very good, very professional narrator.
Yeah, well, she was awesome. So when again? Tell us one more time when the sequel will be out.
Okay, well, we have a free short story coming out in 2026, which is weird to say because that is coming up. We'll have a short story coming out that is the day before One Icy Night, and it is called Burn Baby Burn. And we're in the process of finalizing the cover. It's completely written, been through all 10 drafts that I go through of writing a story. And then the next year we have the direct sequel. It is called The Compound,
The compound.
and it
Yes.
takes place. It'll take place after One Icy Night. I haven't exactly set the time. I haven't decided if it's 6 months, a year, but it will be after One Icy Night.
Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah, because it just felt like it set her up nicely at the end. And we know she lives. She's a star of the book. She's going to live. Uh, it's not a spoiler.
There you go.
So if
I'm not. Despite what I would love, I am not R. R. Martin. I'm not George R. R. Martin. I'm not going to be able to kill the main character and then go to the next book like that. I don't think I can do that.
no, 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 that makes me nuts. I don't like when that happens. Everybody dies. No, I don't want everybody to die. No.
Will
So
you keep
are
reading? Well,
you
yes,
on
I am.
are you on social media?
Yes, yes. I am. I have the same username at every group. It is at W.A. Pepper Writes, like to write something. And I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I am on Facebook. We also have a newsletter, and we send it out monthly with exclusive information. Sometimes some of the stuff I've shared with you, but sometimes I'll just share things completely, like how the bar named Stalin's Bar, where that came from. Like I'll put that in the newsletter and explain where that comes from. But and
Okay.
that's available through wapepperwrites.com.
Oh, awesome. And for anybody who is just listening, and you can come back later and go down to the show notes, and I will include those links. Yes, I can speak. But thank you so much for coming on today. Say hi
It's
to
always
your
so much fun.
lovely wife, Taddy. She's very sweet, and
Yeah, thank you.
maybe we'll all be together again at another. Yeah, show the picture if you're on the online watching. Then there's the book, and it is a what is the sticker on there?
Oh, Literary Titan! It won the I said won it won the gold medal for their contest. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice, nice.
So I don't. I'm learning Spanish, and we're both on Duolingo. We're not endorsed yet. However, Duo I will take. I can't be bought, but I can be rented. So if you want to endorse and you're watching this, but there is a horrible tequila in here that they do a shooting match of, basically as a poker game, and I want to say it's Interpenia del Diablo, and I could be saying it wrong, but it translates to devil's the devil's crotch. Okay, is what it's called. And it is inspired by my 21st birthday when my buddies took me to a Mexican restaurant and they put me in a sombrero and everybody's having a good time, and this guy comes up and he pours a shot out of this dark looking bottle, and then he goes over and pours the same stuff on the table next to him and uses it to clean the table. That's how bad the tequila was. So there's back when disposable cameras were a thing, there's these photos of me and I don't want to take the shot. My buddy picks my head back, throws it back, and people look in the next shot and I'm even whiter than I am. I'm like 50 shades of Irish. And the photo, people are like, you look like you're gonna pass out. I said, I'm crying. That's how bad it is. I am crying. And so that's where that horrible, horrible tequila comes from.
I was wondering, if there was a story involved with that, because
It's
I was
so bad. It
cringing
was so bad.
every time they had to take a shot. Yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, so bad, so bad.
Oh, that's so cool. I love hearing that. I love hearing when real life inspires the things in the pages. I don't know. It just seems like it makes it feel more alive. And I think it does make it feel more alive when it was something that you experienced and then you pour that experience into that story.
Yeah, yeah. It adds a layer that people appreciate. I hope they appreciate.
They do. I'm sure they do. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on again. It is One Icy Night by W.A. Pepper. And I will have all the links in the show notes so you can find the book. Is it available wide?
Yes. Well, let's see. It is through Amazon. It's Kindle Unlimited for the ebook, but print book is available anywhere from your order through your local bookstore, Target, Walmart, or the trunk of my car.
Yeah, and I must have bought the audiobook outright. Oh, maybe I got the audiobook before I canceled Audible. You were able to keep your
Possible.
audiobooks.
Mhm.
So,
It's
which I
there.
was happy about. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks again and say hi to Danger,
I will.
who is his dog. He's so cute. I
He
love
is
the photos
sleeping
that you
next to
post.
me, and thank goodness the mic didn't pick him up snoring like a chainsaw.
Aw,
He's 14. He's earned the right to snore loud.
listeners would have loved it. They would have loved it. And say hey to Tatty, and I will probably see you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. This was always a blast. So great catching up with you, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Will. It is always a pleasure to talk to him. And after we hung up, then officially hung up, we talked for another hour. And he is just great. I love him. I love his wife. They're just a lovely, lovely couple. And his books are really good. So you need to grab One Icy Night if you like suspense thriller. It's very exciting. It is hard to put down, but like I said in the interview, I limited myself to my walks and when I was doing laundry, and it lasted me a little bit longer. And I felt bad for the main character in that I wanted the book to keep going on, and all these things are happening to her. So I felt like a horrible person for wanting to extend her misery, but it made me happy. Oh dear, I'm a terrible person. Anyway, so thank you again, Will. I have all the links in the show notes. I hope I put all the links in the show notes. If I've forgotten something, just send me a message and I'll make sure to update the show notes. And that's it. And I will be back next week with another episode. I have a bunch of interviews. I can speak a bunch of interviews and things coming up for Books Cubed. So stick around, and that's it. Stick around, and I will see you later. And in the meantime, go read a good book. The Books Cube theme music was written by Laura Lynn Hardy. She performed the vibraphone. Billy Tyke Miller performed percussion, and it was recorded at Mills Kids Recording in Huntsville, Alabama.